You can't be for the mob on January 6th and for the officers. You can't. And it's not funny, because you're a threat to democracy.
Sure.
I was on the House floor when we went through the votes. I remember when you objected to the results in Arizona. Y'all at home might remember where you were on January 6th, what you were doing. I know where I was, and I know where he was. I remember when they told us to reach under our seats for these gas masks. I didn't know we had, because they had deployed tear gas in the rotunda. The officers locked all the doors. We barred the doors the president walks through to deliver the State of the Union with furniture that we usually use to hold paper. And I texted my wife, Allie, who was 7 months pregnant with our son, Cameron, and at home with our son, Jordan, who wasn't yet 2. Whatever happens, I love you. And I took off my suit jacket, and I was prepared to defend the House floor from the mob. At the same time, after he'd gone around the country lying about the election, after he'd been the architect of the attempt to overthrow that election, when that mob came, Senator Cruz was hiding in a supply closet. And that's okay. I don't want him to get hurt by the mob. I really don't. This election is his accountability. You cannot just be patriotic when your side wins. If, for the first time in 250 years, this project of ours, this shared American project, that we did not have a peaceful transfer of power, the folks responsible have to be held accountable. That's why Liz Cheney has endorsed me, has got involved in this campaign, and is saying to Texans everywhere, do not put Ted Cruz back in a position of authority, because he's done it once, he'll do it again.
This anecdotal report from Texas. Ted Cruz is in huge trouble. Lifelong Republicans I know have turned on him, proving what Al Franken said years ago. I like Ted Cruz more than Republicans like Ted Cruz, and I hate Ted Cruz.
Okay.
My prediction is a split decision in Texas. Colin Allred victory and Trump victory. I know it's schizophrenic, but that's Texas for you. Love you so inappropriately, Jim from Phoenix. What's your guess on that one? Man, I'm rooting for Colin Allred.
He's a good guy. I mean, I'm sure you probably had him on. I had him on my show several times, and he is connecting with people. He is a former football player. And Ted Cruz is a disliked person. He's unlikable as a human being.
Yeah.
So the question is there enough people to come out and vote and say, even though they're a Republican, they're like, I like Colin Allred. He seems like a good guy, and I don't like Ted Cruz. I hope that goes that way. That would change the complexion and composition of the Senate map in ways we didn't expect. We could hold the Senate and add a seat if you flip that one.
I'm so rooting for Lucas Kuntz. We had him on, and again, Jess Piper said to us, "It's Missouri." So but I mean, Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz, first of all, are insurrectionists. Dean, speaking of traitors, speaking of people that were involved directly in I think a more serious way, because they were in a real position to do something about overturning this election, last election.
The fact that DOJ didn't charge any member of Congress for crimes was bad, because it sent a message that whatever you do is fine. So, the concern all of us have is what happens after this. We know Donald Trump tonight is going to announce he won. Doesn't matter. He probably should announce it today. I'm surprised he doesn't just announce it now. I won. I'm a winner.
Dixville Notch has put me over the top.
They were tied, right?
Yeah.
It's a tie, but I win.
Someone who was, I don't even know what to say, disgrace to her gender, Megyn Kelly, was on stage at a rally. This is blood coming out of her, whatever. I mean, what is with these women that have no self-esteem? She's on a stage with him in Pennsylvania, urging people to vote for him, saying, he will be a protector of women. Oh, my God.
If you like it or not, right? If you like it or not, he'll be a protector.
Yep.
She just wants to be relevant. I mean, look, that's all it is, to be honest. Nikki Haley never came out to campaign with Donald Trump.
Cowards.
She did an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, but she did not appear with Donald Trump. And I don't know if Trump didn't ask her, or at the end of the day, she didn't want to be on stage with him.
I mean, she closed her remarks by slamming the left for targeting masculinity and hugged Trump after her remarks. I mean, these people are going to really feel stupid, I think, when this election is over.
But look, she's just to stay relevant. So that's all it's about. Let's be blunt. Yesterday, what I loved at Vice President Harris's rally is that, Lady Gaga talked about, between singing, she talked about women not always having the right to vote in this country and get out there and vote. And Oprah Winfrey talked about this could be the last chance we have to vote. And people on the right are attacking them. But they're absolutely right. Yeah. Because Donald Trump admires Viktor Orban. And while there's still elections there, they're not free and fair anymore. Yeah. We'll be able to win local elections, but not national. That's the way they're going to rig the system, through laws, through controlling the media, through even more control of the judiciary. So they're both absolutely right. And I love that the people on the right are getting upset. How dare you say they're going to take our right to vote away?
Yeah.
Well, the right took away women's reproductive freedom. taking away their vote
Yeah.
is not that big of a step after you force them to carry fetus against their will.
As I keep saying, there is no hyperbole too hyperbolic for this particular election, Dean. And I have to say, how hilarious is it to you and I as comedians that it might be a comedian that actually takes him down? Because experts are saying this is really resonating in places, Pennsylvania and other places. The people in the Puerto Rican community are pissed. I mean, and who can blame them?
Right. Jennifer Lopez was campaigning with Vice President Harris and talked about it was an offense to all Latinos. I talked to Luis Miranda Jr., who is the father of Lin-Manuel, and they were just campaigning in Pennsylvania together just last weekend. And he said the response to that comment about Puerto Rico being an island of garbage, he said it struck more than people realized because it conjured up and reminded people how bad Trump was. That's why I wanted Trump to call for another Muslim ban, to remind everybody in my community how bad the guy is. And he did call for one, but quietly. Now he kind of backed off it. But what he did at his event and not denouncing the guy at all, he did not denounce the comic in any way. So you were affirming the comments. It reminded everyone how bad Trump was to Puerto Ricans and the island of Puerto Rico during the hurricanes.
Right. And by the way, there's hate for everybody. He also blamed the Jews already preemptively for him losing. So there's hate. Yep. There's hate to go around for everybody. I don't know how many more warnings we need. We just played Liz Cheney. The general counsel of the Department of Homeland Security under Trump called him a would-be autocrat and fascist again in a lengthy thread, warning fellow conservatives who are thinking of voting for him. He said, "I saw it from the inside. It was a chaotic disaster. Trump is reckless, angry, vengeful, narcissistic. He has no respect for the Constitution or the rule of law. He's not a conservative. Rather, he's a would-be autocrat and fascist motivated exclusively by his personal self-interest. If you think he cares about you or your family, I assure you he does not. He cares only about himself." I mean, Dean, that could be the key, is that there are more Republicans going to Harris, right? Do you know of any Biden voters that are voting for Trump this time?
No. The only ones I know who might be voting for Jill Stein, but I don't know who said, I voted for Biden. Well, not me saying that. I'm just saying, being honest, like thinking honestly, but it's a very small number. And the ones voting, they're not going from Biden to Trump. But look, what you just read, Stephanie, let's not infantilize the Trump supporters. They get it. They know what he's about, and they're supporting him. So let's not pretend they don't get what's going on. I've had conversations with Trump supporters where we debated January 6th, and I said to one point blank, just assume Donald Trump attempted a coup inside of the terrorist attack January 6th. Would you still support him? And he said yes. Yeah. So to me, that's all you need to know. They understand the threat, but he's their king, their dictator, their oppressor. They're fine. He's going to oppress us. They're down with it. And that's what we have to be aware of. Yeah. There are hardcore MAGA people who have embraced fascism, even if they don't know what the word really means. They've embraced it.
Exactly.
Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. I hope you'll join me on my new audio podcast, Justice Matters. I'll be using my 30 years as a federal prosecutor and Army JAG to unpack, break down, and explain the legal issues of the day, particularly where the legal intersects with the political. Please look for Justice Matters with Glenn Kirshner wherever you generally get your podcasts.